Hello and welcome back to Agile Unlocked. I'm Coach RL, and today's episode is one I've been itching to talk about. You ever notice how site reliability engineers, SREs, or DevOps engineers tend to make seriously talented developers? We're going to dig into why that is and what bridges the gap between these roles. Let's start by calling out what SREs are already amazing at. We're talking hardcore problem solvers, right? If you work SRE, then you live and breathe troubleshooting, automation, and honestly, thinking in systems. It's not just fixing stuff when things catch on fire either. You already know how to automate repeatable work, which, by the way, is about 80% of modern software engineering. I think that's accurate. You know, I always round up. When working with Agile teams, especially at big tech companies, think Google, Netflix, what you'll notice is this blend. SREs there aren't just keeping the lights on. They're shipping code, writing tests, building tooling, and that's where the line starts blurring between SRE and classic developer. The key difference, SREs pretty much always keep the end-to-end system in view, where a traditional developer might just be focused on their feature or component. Both are super valuable, but when you pair them together, oh man, that's when you see some magic happen on a team. Let me tell you about a real example. I coached a help desk agent, let's call her Jamie, who had become an SRE. She already had this sense for anticipating what could break, automating patches, all that jazz. We put together a plan. She brushed up on Python, started contributing to some internal tool repos, and gradually shifted her day-to-day into writing back-end services. Was it easy? Nope. There were some major growing pains and lots of rubber duck debugging, if you know what I mean. But she got there. Now, she's running back-end for a healthcare startup and honestly, crushing it. Her SRE know-how lets her see performance and ops impacts first, which her dev team loves. Maybe you're thinking, but coach, aren't the responsibilities wildly different? Sorta, but they're overlapping more every year. As teams ship faster, ops and devs need each other's skills, so SREs making the jump have a real head start. Speaking of the head start, let's talk about what's turbocharging this transition now. Yep, you guessed it, AI tools. If you caught our episode on AI power-ups for Agile teams, you already know I'm a big fan of using artificial intelligence for more than just hype. In today's landscape, tools like GitHub Copilot, ChatGPT, and even GPT-4 enabled IDE assistants aren't just gadgets. They're legit teammates. They can generate boilerplate code, automate documentation, and even make sense out of some gnarly stat traces. I mean, who actually likes writing documentation? Not me, that's for sure. One case that stands out. I knew an SRE at a mid-sized fintech who used GPT-4 to take these creaky old bash scripts, stuff written in like 2013, and refactor them into modern Python microservices. It went from please don't touch this, it might break prod, to fully testable, reusable modules that could scale as the company's needs exploded. It wasn't magic. The SRE still had to verify, review, and guide the AI, but the heavy lifting, way faster thanks to a solid prompt and an agile mindset. Now, you might be wondering, okay, but with a million new tools every month, how do I pick what's actually helpful? It's a good question. I always tell my coaching clients, think about your team's workflow first. If you're Scrum, maybe you prioritize tools that help with acceptance criteria or automated test gen. In Kanban, maybe visualizing WIP or helping with prompt-driven automation is the secret sauce. Just don't get caught up chasing AI for the sake of AI. Use it to solve real pain points. There's the flip side too, new risks. AI can introduce bias, security holes, or even hallucinated code that looks right but is actually bonkers. I always say treat it like any new teammate. Helpful, but don't trust it blindly. As we talked about before, data and visibility are powerful, but only if you use them to make smart decisions. Now, let's bring it home. How does all this translate to career growth and, let's be honest, bigger paychecks? This is where Agile transformation really shines for SREs, making the developer lead. Cross-training in Agile frameworks is a game changer. You don't just get better at doing the work, you get way better at showing stakeholders the value of what you're building. Scrum, you're speaking their language, talking value delivery, iteration, retros. Kanban, you're visualizing flow, limiting WIP, driving predictability. This isn't just theory. I wrote about this jump from doer to communicator in my book, Start Strong. And if you've read Essential Scrum, you know how teams that adopt agile mindsets just move up the ladder faster. When you layer in those skills, Agile, SRE, Developer, and AI chops, you're looking at real leverage when it comes to negotiating comp. If you look at market benchmarks, SRE pay is already solid, but folks who bring senior level developer experience with Agile and AI, they're seeing some serious jumps, especially in product-driven orgs in fintech. I was at an Agile meetup last month, and one of the panelists, a hybrid SRE developer AI engineer at a fintech, shared how they pivoted through upskilling and saw their total comp leap by nearly 30%. All it took was that combo of hands-on modern developer work and a real Agile mindset. Certifications played a role too. CSM, CSP, even those AI-driven certs that are popping up lately. Look, if you're coming from SRE and thinking about layering on development and Agile, that's one of the best investments you can make. Not just for more satisfying work, but for your future earning power too. And hey, you don't have to go it alone. Lean on your Agile community. All right, thanks so much for listening to today's episode of Agile Unlocked. Don't forget, you can watch on YouTube or Spotify, and there's plenty more to dig into as you build your Agile career toolkit. Catch y'all next time.